Morning at Entebbe, and this time I am coming to you from the streets of Entebbe here in, let me say, next to Victoria Mall at Shell Petrol Station and Total. But of course, we are speaking matters politics for when campaigns started. There have, of course, been progress for most of the parliamentary aspirants and the mayor aspirants and the rest who are still, of course, rallying people to vote for them. And there has not been anything wrong reported so far. But people are continuing to, of course, lay out their message, and the voters also listen. We know that Entebbe has had its own demands right from the colonial times that the residents of Entebbe feel they should be addressed up to this time. And some of these things have always become a campaigning tool from the 90s, being talked about every time a politician comes through, from the presidential candidates up to the lower level. Whoever wants to get votes or rally the people of Entebbe to vote for him or her will always use such kind of things. They include, of course, among others, the Buaya Bridge, you have the Chigung Road, which seeks to be tarmacked, among others. But Entebbe people, of course, have always had unique demands when it comes to the political space, given the fact that the president's office is here in Entebbe. So the people have their own demands. This morning, I just wanted to speak to some of the residents in Entebbe who feel that their demands are quite unique from the rest of other municipalities, cities, and town councils. I am joined by Ken Simbwa, who is one of the, can I call you a senior citizen of Entebbe?
Yeah, I think
is it a better description?
I qualify to be a senior citizen.
But when we are talking about the unique demands that Entebbe as a municipality has got to demand from the political space.
Yes, definitely. Entebbe being unique, so our demands are very different from many other constituencies in Uganda. Being that we are the first capital, you would see that the demography of Entebbe as a people, we have what we'd call middle class or elite people. So we know exactly what a member of parliament or a local leader should do. We're not so much of the rhetoric of build us roads, build us ABCD. We know a member of parliament can't do any of that. But we need a member of parliament that can lobby for the city, that can look at the unique demands of Entebbe. We can take advantage of like Lake Victoria and know how to lobby, know how to talk to the government. If you're maybe a mayor, you know how to talk to other mayors around the world, New York mayor, London mayor, and see how to lobby for the people of Entebbe so that you can uplift their economic standards.
You have tested the parliamentary position has been under opposition, but you have the president's office within this location. Does that create a unique demand for the people of Entebbe?
Yes, definitely. It creates a unique demand. Being that the president's office is in Entebbe, when you're a member of parliament of Entebbe, it doesn't matter whether you're opposition or you're NRM or you're in the ruling government. You have to find a synergy. You have to find a way of being together with the government or the ruling party so that you harness the things that come with the government. And so that the most important thing is to see that the people of Entebbe get service delivery. It's okay, you can be opposition, but you have to recognize the fact that there's a ruling party, there's a ruling government, and see how best you can lobby from them to uplift the standards of the people of Entebbe. I think that's very important.
Entebbe survives on hotels. It was the first administrative colonial capital back in the time. Does that also in any way create a way that you feel there should be maybe a negotiation in terms of tourism consideration in this area?
Yes, definitely. If you're going to be a leader of Entebbe, you have to understand these things. You have to understand that Entebbe is now a service city. You have to understand that we depend on hotels, tourism, and leisure. So you have to have that in mind when you're lobbying, when you're looking at whom should you talk to. For example, like you've mentioned, we have loads of hotels. So what we depend on is what we use to employ our people. So you have to make a way, find a way of lobbying in that sector of tourism, uplift tourism, so that people can get jobs, so that people can get service delivery and all the things that come with uplifting an economy in a city or in a constituency. So it's important that you understand these dynamics when you're going into the leadership. So I think the people of Entebbe will be looking out to someone like that to be their leader.
Last time you had a dialogue, you people of Entebbe, and said there are those, infrastructure that are being used as campaign tools. You talked about the Buaya Nachuogo Bridge, the tarmacking of the Chigung Road, and the rest. Those which have been used as campaigning tools from the 90s up to this time. The people who talked about them in the previous elections, I think this time we'll still talk about them. What do you make of this?
Yes, first of all, it's always important. It's always It's always going to be a campaigning way to use infrastructure. It's done all over the world. But it's important that when we speak about these things as leaders, we see them to the end. It's good that the road in Chigungu, I've seen some roads in Chigungu being tarmac. That's a very big thing. The one in Buwayada bridge is very important because it will be a connecting bridge, connect us to Western Uganda. People won't need to go to Kampala anymore. You're coming from Western Uganda, coming to the airport. You don't need to go to Kampala anymore. It's a connection. And Entebbe being a peninsula, we need a connection to other parts of Uganda to uplift us economically.
I saw your tweet yesterday. You talked about how Entebbe can lack an international school.
Yes.
Nowadays, we learn of the fact that most of the United Nations staff who are working, they have relocated to Lubowa because most of them have their children studying international schools, and Entebbe does not have one. That's what you came out to tweet. Yes. What did you mean by this?
Yes, definitely. I was just not only meaning the international schools. There's so many international things that we need in Entebbe, being that Uganda has an international airport here. And the fact that the UN is right close there, we need so many international things, international schools, international hospitals. So it still boggles my mind that we don't have an international school in Entebbe to cater for a very big UN community here in Entebbe. So some of these things may look small, but they're big factors. I'll tell you that the UN had to move some of their staff to Nairobi just because of such small things. They would say, no, we don't have where to put our children. We don't have our children to study. We don't have a standard of hospitals that are international, so we are not safe in Entebbe. So these are things the government and people who are coming into leadership have to lobby for. That's why I said you have to look at the unique ability of Entebbe and know what kind of leadership it needs.
Does Entebbe people in any way, you are part of the team that partly advocates for Entebbe. It's under opposition. Yeah. But in a way, you met the president. Since he's a resident, he has his office in Entebbe, yes, and talk about the well-being of Entebbe. Or being an opposition-led constituency, you feel it's none of the business. Because we have seen the opposition figures, when the president is going to their constituencies, some of them are running away. They do not want to attend, perhaps speak to the president about challenges that affect their constituencies.
You see, perhaps I would want to say that in Uganda, politics has become so emotional. So it's just formal and right if a president, an excellence is coming in your constituency, for you as a member of parliament to be there. It doesn't matter whether you're opposition or you're not. It is just protocol. So, and this is another way that you can lobby. You know, you will be talking directly to the fountain of honor. Yes, you might be in opposition. I am in opposition. But yes, but you have to lobby. You have to find a way of finding a synergy to talk to the fountain of honor to see that you bring the services right to the people.
Okay, for time reasons, Ken got you on the streets, but I want to thank you so much for making time to speak to us.
Always good to be on NTV, always good to talk to the people, and always good to talk about Entebbe. Well, thank you very much.
Well, the conversation from the streets with Kenny about the unique demands of Entebbe as a municipality, of course, given the fact that it holds the president's office, among other important things, that when we're going for such campaigns, it should be given a special consideration. Last time it was supposed to be elevated to a city. That ended along the way. But of course, the politics continue to get on the top of the conversations and also keeping track and see what do the electorates need? What do the politicians tell them? Should we remind them of what they said last time vis-a-vis what they are telling people this time? That remains a subject of discussion, but now the conversation will leave the streets of Entebbe and return to the studios. Priscilla Regina, pick the conversation away from me. Good morning to you, our audience.
Much, Ivan Warunyolo. Of course, as we're having a conversation about security, we must also keep abreast with what is happening.